We're making keto sourdough starter with almond flour. Let's go! I've had quite a few people ask me to create a keto sourdough bread, and in order to do that you need a keto sourdough starter, and I think this is the first starter recipe I've seen made with almond flour. Now you are going to need 2 containers that hold 500 grams or a pound of liquid, and preferably they should have a lid. The other thing you're going to need is a whisk, a little whisk, or something that can fit into your container. If you have very cold weather or your house is cold, consider turning your oven on and then leaving it off for a couple of hours just so that it's at room temperature and you can store your starter in there overnight. This recipe takes up to 7 days to complete, so for your convenience I've created timestamps in the description box. So after watching this video, when you start your recipe, just click on the day that you're on and it'll take you straight to where you're supposed to be. Now you have the starter, you need a beautiful bread recipe to make your sourdough bread, and that'll be coming up in the next recipe, and look at it, it's gorgeous. Nutritional information and your ingredients list is listed in the description box, and let's get into the recipe now. Heat 100 grams of water for about 10 seconds in the microwave, depending on the strength of your microwave. We want the water to be at about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, which is slightly warm. Add the 100 grams of water to your container and then 30 grams of almond flour, which is about 4 tablespoons. Stir well or whisk. Cover loosely and then set it aside until tomorrow. Divide the mixture equally between 2 jars. Add 50 grams of lukewarm water, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, to your container, and then about 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of almond flour. Stir well or whisk. Cover loosely and then set it aside. Do this for both jars. Add 50 grams of lukewarm water, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, to your container, and then about 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of almond flour. Stir well or whisk. Do this for both jars. Cover loosely and then set it aside. Add 50 grams of lukewarm water, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, to your container, and then about 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of almond flour. Stir well or whisk. Cover loosely and then set it aside. Do this for both jars. Add 50 grams of lukewarm water, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, to your container, and then about 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of almond flour. Stir well or whisk. Cover loosely and then set it aside. Do this for both jars. Add 50 grams of lukewarm water, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, to your container, 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of instant dried yeast, and then 1 tablespoon or about 7 grams of almond flour. Stir well or whisk. Cover loosely, then set it aside, and do this for both jars. Day 7 is optional as your sourdough starter should now be ready to use. You could repeat the same steps as day 6 the day before. 50 grams of lukewarm water to each jar, 1 tablespoon each of the almond and the instant dried yeast. Stir and whisk well. Cover loosely and then set it aside. Let's talk about storage. You would store it in the fridge and feed it once a week. On the day that you're baking, you would take your starter out of the fridge and bring it up to room temperature and give it one more feed. You will see it foam up and bubble, and that's the part that you would use mostly aside from the thick liquid at the bottom. If you have any more questions, please let me know. I hope you get to make your starter. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and be well.